Welcome to Life in the Fast Lane with Matt Tift and myself. We took a hiatus because we had a lot. You had a lot going on. Like we've all had a massive amount going on, so we took a little bit of a hiatus. We had to take a break. Wasn't bad though. I mean, we played a couple best ofs. We got some people involved. We're doing cool giveaways. I mean, life is good, right?
Yeah, it's been good. I was away for a little bit there. We went on a trip to Florida, down to Destin Beach, which, if you guys have not been, I'm highly recommend you go. Just don't go when I'm there, so there's less people. So I appreciate that.
Don't go when
Um,
you're there.
a
So,
lot, a lot of people down there.
well, yeah. I mean, of course. So there's a lot of big news going on that we're not going to hit on some of the big news, but we're going to hit on a lot of it today cuz of course I'm talking to Matt and we're like, "Look, cuz I wasn't feeling the best, not Rona, so don't worry about it, but I wasn't feeling the best. So I'm like, we got to come up with something to talk about. We got to come up with what we're going to do cuz we didn't do a show Monday. We didn't do a show Tuesday, and you're like, let's do a super show Thursday. And I'm like, what the hell are we going to do a super show about? So I guess we're going to do a super show.
Right. Well, I do have
Right.
an announcement earlier
Okay.
this week. I got one. I got one for you. Just want to say I really do appreciate everybody's reached out. So this week I hit a milestone of 6 months seizure free. So yeah, for the first time in 2 years, this guy's back on the road. So that's been really cool.
Did you see the title of the show?
On the road again.
That's
I
right.
yes,
That's right. You didn't
I
see
did
it till.
not click. I thought it was like the show coming back on, but that makes more
Oh,
sense.
we're trying to support you. What do you mean?
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. All right, so we don't normally talk a whole lot about this. We normally don't talk about sports, but if you're looking at the screen, it is the right hand side. We got TV shows. We've been talking a lot about Dogecoin a lot, and I bought Dogecoin, and then I was like, you know what, I'm gonna buy more. So then I bought more Dogecoin, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna buy more, and then I bought more Dogecoin, and then it tanks, right? But it's going back up because of what Musk just tweeted. But before we get into that,
Wait, hang on. I just so you saying it, you bought more, you bought more, you bought more than tank. It sounds like your health and cigarettes, Keith.
all right, that's funny. When you're old enough to buy cigarettes, come back at me.
I almost was, but then they changed the rules.
That's right. I forgot you can't be 18 to buy cigarettes anymore. You have to be 21.
That's right. Imagine, I saw a TikTok about this actually. So this guy was, and I don't smoke cigarettes, but so this guy was going in to buy cigarettes on New Year's Eve last year,
Yep.
and he bought them at like 11:30, something like that. It says, "Can I see your ID?" Whatever. Here you go. And then he came back in that same store after he'd been partying. Came back in at 2:30 a.m. of now 2021. The same clerk, same guy. He said, "Hey, can I get another pack?" And he goes, "No, you're not old enough." He's like, "Are you kidding me?" He's like, "Nope, you're not old enough." He goes, "You literally just sold it to me about 2 hours ago, maybe 3 hours ago.
Game changed.
You're telling me I'm not old enough. I am now older than when you sold it to me then."
That is true. So here's my problem with cigarettes being at the age of 21, right? So, and we don't really talk politics, but I don't think this is a political issue. I think it's more of a common sense issue. If any of my children can strap a gun to their side and go fight a war, they can smoke a cigarette if they want. I feel the same way about drinking too.
Are you saying like Call of Duty, or you mean like real life?
No, because if it was Call of Duty, our wars would be over in a minute. My kids can game, but I
I know
can't.
I know they're good. That's why I asked.
I can't. We're screwed if it came down to that. But I mean, like, don't you find that ironic that you can go to a store and you have to be 21 to purchase alcohol or even now tobacco, but you can go to your local recruiting office and sign your life away, literally sign your life away. It doesn't make any sense to me, man.
No, no, doesn't make much sense at
No,
all.
it doesn't. No, of course it doesn't make any sense. Nothing that's gone on in the past like 2 years makes any sense. But we're just gonna pretend it does because we're about to get back to whatever the hell the new normal is.
Hey, you know what? I'll take it though for today. Them saying that we can go outside and do stuff, but I've been outside, but at least people can go outside. You know what? I will say though, we were in Destin Beach and having a good time down there, and I will say it was very nice to be in warm weather. Last year, obviously, people vacation and stuff like that eventually,
Sure.
but Everybody was terrified, and it was like, you know what? This actually felt like it was getting to a nice, good little spot here. I was like, okay, this is kind of nice. We're climbing out of it. The news came out today of NASCAR inside the garage area there that we don't have to wear. We're not required to wear masks anymore, and they do a very good background checking of like what your health symptoms are and stuff like that. So that was announced today.
Oh heck yeah,
Some big news out of that, but
that is huge.
yeah, man, I'm hoping to we don't need a hot girl summer. We just need a fun normal summer.
That's right, a fun normal summer. I'm alright with a fun normal summer. And the thing is, like, so this is what I guess we can segue into this. So last year, baseball sucked, right? I mean, like, it was bad. You had like 60 games. There was all these kind of weird, stupid rules. I don't know what was going on in it. It was bad. And so now this year, the same stupid rules are applying, but at least there's a normal season. And what a normal season is a normal 160 whatever games. Well, the Indians were slated, right? I'm a huge, huge Indians fan. You already know that. The
We'll
Indians were
try.
slated to go Tribe. The Indians were slated to
If you
just
can't
suck.
see by Keith's laptop and his shirt, the C and everything going on there, it is the C block all the way around. You might as well call it until it's sponsored because you can sponsor it if you want to for the studio, but until then, it is the C block studio.
C Block Studio, I like it. Coming live at you from the C Block Studios. So the Indians are slated to suck, right? Just absolutely horrible.
I was worried.
Well, yeah, everybody was, and people are still worried. People are still flipping out about it, right? But they're really not doing that bad. They're like at all. They're over 500. It's what I care about. They were only supposed to be at, huh? And we got sleep, but we did get no hitted twice. I mean, that is a problem. But I'm not. I don't know. I didn't take that as serious as I think everybody else took it. So we got no hitted. Big deal. You know what I mean? It happens. But the Indians were slated to just suck. I mean, we were slated to just be the worst team. Nothing was supposed to go right. We weren't going to get anything. We weren't going to make any wild card push, any playoff push, anything. Well, it just so happens that everybody in our division sucks just as bad. So
The
now
AL Central is the same as always.
it's always right. And basically when you're dealing with when you're dealing with the Indians in the Central, you're basically just going, well, who sucks less? Because that's what it comes down to. Who sucks less? And
We are the NFC East of
oh,
football,
absolutely we are.
which is perfect.
Which is fine for me. I mean, whatever. I'm going to get to see. All I want to hear is Hammy say, "Cleveland, you will see in October." That's all I care about. If he says you will see in October, I'm happy.
Yep, I'm totally with you. Absolutely. Yeah, no, that's an awesome. I mean, we had we've had some folks with the Indians on the show, and we
Oh
all
yeah.
had the worry of like this is the last year of the Indians, and like what the heck is going to happen after this? And we're like, well, great, this year's going to suck. They don't have anybody. Then Lindor is off in the Mets, and he goes 0 for 24, like raking in that
Makes
money.
me happy as hell.
Oh my
You know
gosh.
what though? Bringing up Lindor real quick, and I was a huge Lindor fan in Cleveland, but I wasn't as upset as everybody was when he was gone.
He's
For
batting
how
170.
yeah, that's
I
what I'm
mean,
saying. He is not. And boy, did I tell you? And I mean, you can go back. I think I said on the We Like Sports show. I think even Hillis said it on the In the Backfield show. We did not need to pay that. He's not a $200 million player. He's not $100 million player. I've been saying this since he came onto the team. He is simply an $80 to $90 million player when he's at his best. But the problem is that he didn't leave like LeBron James did, right? Everybody's trying to compare him to LeBron James. It's not true. I don't think he left the crappy way. I really don't. I just think that he got too cocky, thought he was the face of the team, but then a lot came out after he left, right? Like he didn't like the nickname Frankie. He said Hammy was being lazy and the announcers were being lazy. That was garbage. But what really got me, and I think this is probably true across the board, that Lindor has become the new villain of baseball for Cleveland. He's going to end up being the villain, period. He's going to end up being one of those players that, sure, you're going to respect him for his glove. You're going to respect him for when he actually truly plays and when he's actually healthy. But he said something, I mean, it was a while back. It was like a couple weeks back that he said that he took a nap during the rain delay in
yeah.
Cleveland. He took a nap. Who says that?
At that point, I lost all remaining respect for him.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So speaking of all that, so you're back on the road again. That's the title of the show. And it feels good to know your story. Honestly, it does, because I haven't been there through the whole thing, obviously. But as we started doing this and growing together with the company and everything,
Then Tuesday came and it became a little bit easier. And then Wednesday, I was like, okay, this is kind of normal. I was hoping somebody would flip me off, but because me cutting them off, I'm like, yeah, let's go. And then today was good. So it's amazing how much your body gets back into it. The hardest part for me is like just getting past the mental barrier, because for 2 years that was the last step of me becoming normal again.
sure,
Obviously, I could take my medicine and do all those things, and just like
all right,
you got to do with a disease. But that was my last piece of freedom to get back. And so that was a big deal. And so the biggest thing has been just getting over the mental barrier of like, okay, well, now I'm here. I don't have to look forward to having to need something to have myself back. So it's been good to have that back, but it's kind of like, okay, we're here. Now what? And that's been it's a good thing, but it's a good problem to have, I should say. But yeah, at the same time, so back to your question, a lot of people have been asking if I would drive a race car again. Am I getting into NASCAR again next year? Like, what am I doing with the next gen car? I'm like, no. I'll make that very clear. I am not.
really.
I am not cleared to do anything. I have no desire to want to do anything. Does that mean I'm gonna go turn down and go on a race in a go kart? Absolutely not. I'm gonna go do that. That's fun. But
Go
fun.
kart. I
But if
like
you're
it.
talking about a full size stock car like a late model or something like that, it's going to be when I feel like it and when doctors tell me to. And, I talked about this on another podcast this week. And something that, Keith we talked about a little bit as you get to know me and know racing and all that kind of stuff. There is, even if I was totally healthy and the doctor said, hey, you are completely allowed to go back to normal, do whatever you want to do, from the mental aspect of it, I would not be fit. I mean, I would not be emotionally fit to go do it. It is absolutely insane what race car drivers do. Going into a car that moves at a football field every second. That's one of the hardest jobs there is, because you're not you're not just in control of your car and trying to control that aspect and your team and putting all that on your shoulders,
Right.
but it's also the people around you. I mean, there are 39 other drivers out there that are also some of the best drivers in the world. And you have a responsibility to be, at a level that you can go function and handle the stress and the adrenaline and the heat. I mean, my gosh, all the sweating you do and that stuff. So there's so much that goes into it that people just say, Matt, you're going to get back and drive. Of course, I would love to at some point, but um, it's a would I now? Absolutely not. Am I ever going to say never? No. But it's just it's an interesting deal, because I have no desire, because I'm having so much fun being the owner of Live Fast Motorsports, getting ready for this next gen car and everything we're doing inside of there. Doing things in my personal life, like getting to go to the beach, getting to go do podcasts, do stuff like this. I mean, it's been fun. I still get to go to the racetrack, and so it's not a bad deal at all. And kind of and
Yeah,
get
for
paid
sure.
to be there still, instead of having to pay in. And well, you do have to pay in, but you know what I mean.
I gotcha. So that's interesting to me. So you have, and I mean, I guess we could dive into this a little deeper before we go to break. So you've been on both sides now. You've been a driver and you've been a team owner, and we've talked about this. I mean, obviously, I'm not going to share anything we talk about off air, but we've had some pretty hefty discussions about about this type of topic, and I think that as we dive into it and people start to realize, okay, yeah, you're on the road again, fantastic, but you hit, dude. Mental health is real, and we've talked about this numerous times on this show. If you didn't feel comfortable getting behind a NASCAR or getting behind a stock car, whatever, and something were to happen, I don't think you'd ever really forgive yourself. I think there's a certain skeptic that you have there, that you're like, I don't want to do this in case something happened. And then on the flip side of that, you know your body better than anybody else does. And you said you're having fun now. You're hanging out. We're doing some podcasts. We're doing a whole bunch of other crap. That's fun. You know what I mean? There's some things we can talk about, some things we can't talk about. But we're doing a lot of stuff. And it's interesting to me to see, you came from a driver's perspective. And now you are the team owner, a coach, so to say. You're a team owner, a coach, whatever, to the people that you're now. And I've always believed that. I've always believed that players make the best owners, players make the best coaches, players make the best teachers. And there's a reason why. You've been in the shit, so to say. You've been in the hell of it. So for you to not want to right now come back and drive NASCAR, I don't think anybody blames you for that. And I think if anything, we stand more behind you to see what happens with this team and how fast and how far you can go with it.
Yeah, no, I mean, you're absolutely right. It's a big deal because there's a lot of things that change when you talk about just moving from the driver to owner part of it. There's so many different moving parts, but just like any athlete side of it, there's a lot of different things that you got to weigh out. And for me, a big part of it, like you said, health comes first. Yes, I had to figure out what the treatment plan was and things like that, but I figured out too, I did a lot of damage to my body just in some of the G-forces and things like that to my neck that it's to nobody's fault. I signed up for it.
Right.
And I just found that after 12 years, through multiple concussions and hits and things like that, I messed up some stuff. Like my for people that really want to look up upper cervical spine. It's not a typical chiropractor, but upper cervical chiropractors there. And they've made a world of a difference in my personal life, my just day-to-day things of how I handle things, just emotionally getting your central nervous system correct is such a big deal. And I never realized how bad off I was until I went in there. And it's been pretty interesting because you start to learn, like my head was tilted this way, which makes sense because the race car seat is going to the right in the corner. So little things like that, they were just pulling and twisting. And I was probably more prone to stuff because of hits and my brain tumor and things like that. But,
right.
It's fascinating to look back and all that stuff. But yeah, it's, I don't know, man. It's just, it's cool to be where I'm at. Very thankful for that. We talk about stuff off air about projecting about what you want to be in life and what you want to do. And I always wanted to be a team owner. At some point, I didn't think it would come this early, but I always wanted to at some point. And so it came at the perfect time. And I'm just very thankful to be a part of it. And it's cool to watch it grow.
Heck yeah, man. All right, how about this? How about we take a quick break because we're dropping some frames here. But let's take a quick break, regroup. When we come back, we're going to talk some pop culture. We're going to talk a little bit about, I don't know, we can talk about anything you want, really. You're in charge. You're in the driver's seat, Matt.
I am the captain.
That was such a bad pun. I'm pissed off at myself for that one. All right. I deserve that. We'll be back. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to, I almost said We Like Sports. Welcome back to Life in the
Wrong
Fast Lane.
show.
Yeah, I know, right? With Matt Tift, former NASCAR driver, now NASCAR owner, actor slash rapper slash collector slash, I don't know, what else are you?
And an amateur tattoo artist.
An amateur. When did that start?
I'm an amateur. I can start whenever I want.
Oh, damn it. That pissed me off. Good call. Yep, you're right. You're right. So you're going to design,
Right?
are you going
Why
to,
can't I?
are you gonna, no, you can, absolutely. Are you going to design my next tattoo?
Yeah, and I'll do it for free because as soon as you pay me, I'm a professional tattoo artist, so you better watch out.
That's right. Can you? Yeah, you're right. That's a good point.
Yeah.
So
And if I do that, it does not affect my NCAA eligibility because I never graduated college, so
you're
I should be okay.
You're NCAA. Oh my god. All right, so I got a question for you. I did a thing. Have you ever seen or heard? It's a night. I'm just gonna pretend that skipped. Have you ever seen or heard of something called, what is it? The Hidden Temple, Tyler? Legends of the Hidden Temple on Nickelodeon.
Temple Run?
No, I don't know if it was, I don't think it was Temple Run.
No. Yes, I have seen that, of course.
I mean, I guess it's like, yeah, I guess it's kind of like Temple Run. Maybe that's where they got the idea for Temple Run. I don't know. But anyway.
It might be. No, it's, of course I remember that. Yeah.
All right, so I signed us up for it because
What?
this is the reaction I wanted. This is what I was telling you off air that so I signed you up for it. I know, but I signed both of us up for it. So if we, I can't stop laughing because if we get it, it's gonna be great. We're gonna be on Nickelodeon, which would be super awesome. But I'm sorry.
Here's the best part that people don't know about me. Sure, I might have been a race car driver, but I'm 6'2", and there's not one bit of center of the gravity in this thing. Like, just it's top heavy, it's bottom heavy, like it's middle of like it's. There's nothing in here that works with sports. There's a reason they had to strap me in a car to have a profession. That is why they had to do what they had to do with me. So me going on Temple Run is just going to be me face planting the entire time, and I bet it'll be hilarious if it happens.
Oh my god! So what? One of the qualifications is you have to be able to swim X amount of X. You gotta be able to swim X amount of ways, but so I don't know if you're a swimmer or not.
Used to be.
Doesn't matter. But the point is that one of the questions is, are you afraid of heights? I'm terrified of heights. So I'm like, nah, I'll be fine. Like the chances of them actually picking us are slim to none, right? But I'm laughing about it because
oh, you like to go on verified people's Twitter accounts and ask them to do weird things.
That's how we became friends. Oh my god, that's funny.
Peyton Hillis.
Well, I thought about signing.
If you've ever had any celebrity interaction with anybody, it's probably been Keith. Oh, Justin Timberlake just sent me a message. No, I didn't. No, that was his Keith. Everybody has a Keith. That was his Keith.
You can't make me laugh like that. No, he.
The only time they actually talk to each other is if they're flirting or something. And trust me, you don't want to flirt with Keith. It's like Rick and Morty. There's always the same Morty, and Keith is their Morty.
Oh, good. I'm the Morty. No wonder my life's crap. That's why I keep getting shit on all the time. I'm the Morty. Does that make you Rick?
Don't know what you're talking about.
I just want you to think for a second. Just let's a forecast. Have you ever thought you would be on a Nickelodeon? I just want to see you get slimed, dude. That's all I want to see. I really hope they do.
I would like to.
Someone should hashtag Nick or tag Nickelodeon in this podcast so they can see how ridiculous it's about to be. Well, maybe not this one because we're dropping frames like a son of a bitch, but like it's bad. Like it really is. Like I'm watching it go from doing that. It's like something awful.
Well, I know you don't. You know. Yeah, I mean, normally that's what a traffic light would do, which I figured out since I haven't driven in 2 years. Did you know that they actually stop cars and move them like that?
No. They do not.
Hey, in other news, other than me wanting to get slimed, which yes I do, so Nickelodeon, if you see this part, we're not dropping frames. Sign us up. It's cool. But put Keith on like the high dive. That'd be pretty sweet.
Oh, dude, if I had a high dive into some slime, let me tell you something. I hate heights. Me and heights don't get along whatsoever. I can't. I don't function well around them. I can't do anything around heights. But if I'm about to jump from a high dive into some slime, I think I'll suck it up. You just have to push me a little bit. But I'm definitely high diving into some slime.
I feel like you are. So I know you run some other people's verified accounts. I feel like you need to go and hook up with a base jumpers account. Just be like, oh, I love jumping off of things. It's no big deal.
Yeah, that's what I need. You're right. That's what I need to do. I need to set people up. So here's the thing. Like, I started watching the documentary on Hulu, I think it was, during one of our drives. And what was interesting to me was they were going past, like, when Nickelodeon first started, right? Like, the very first start of Nickelodeon was actually in Columbus, Ohio. Like,
Really?
dude, it's crazy. You guys got to watch this. If you were a Nick fan, which I was way Nick over Disney. But if you're a Nick fan, dude, it was like this little cube thing, and I don't even know how to explain it. You just got to watch the documentary, but I'll explain it the best I can. There was a little cube thing, right? And I want to know where this technology went. It was interactive TV. It was called QB TV. Absolutely insane. You could interact with live shows, but then the CEO, whatever, the lady of Nick, really wanted it to be a kids station all around. Like, it had to be a kids station. She didn't want it to be adult. She didn't want it to be any of that stuff. So they start this kids network, which is amazing, and it takes off, and hence we have Nickelodeon now. But some of the things that they do talk about inside the documentary is the fact that they were able to sneak stuff in to their cartoons and their shows that were so adult oriented that now going back and watching, you're like, holy crap, Ren and Stimpy really was on Nickelodeon. Like, that was a real thing. And then MTV tried to buy Ren and Stimpy from them because they're like, this does not belong on your network. This is an MTV type show.
Wow.
But they really got into it even deeper because the guy that created the logo, the moon logo for MTV, is the same guy that created the Nickelodeon logo. So there's so many correlations that go in between MTV and Nickelodeon. And it's just crazy because then you start to see the birth of what happened when SpongeBob became a thing. When SpongeBob blew up the way it did, and Rugrats were always there, right? Rugrats were the base. That was one of the big ones. Rugrats, Doug, all of those were the base of Nickelodeon. But when SpongeBob came into play, and I know you like SpongeBob, I like SpongeBob. When SpongeBob came in, it took it to a whole nother level, and that's when they had to start moving. That's when they became. What is it? Is it Universal or Paramount? I can't remember who. What was it? Universal.
Warner Brothers and Universal.
Well, okay, so then they moved into into that little theme park, and it's that whole thing is alive today because of what Nick did, because of what Nickelodeon did, and it's crazy to think that such a small part of my everyday life, and I don't want to say small, it was a big part, but I didn't watch TV a lot. I was one of the kids that went outside and played. We don't have that anymore because Nick used to shut off at a certain time. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't 24 hours, but then they were the first, really the first channel to ever cater to kids at the time my age and have a news show and have all this. I just thought it was amazing. Like, the story behind it is super crazy.
No, I think
I lost you. You look like
I
you're.
might have actually watched that documentary because, like, all the stages you're talking about, the temple, the hidden temple thing, and that was in the sound studio at Universal.
Yeah, exactly. And do you remember something called GAC?
Yeah, why do I know that?
Dude, everybody had GAC when I was a kid. It's it's slime. It's the slime stuff that used to come in like the weird little shape stuff, like it looks like a splatter. You know what I mean? Like, dude, that stuff. I mean, their merchandise. They were never supposed to become what they became, but because they pushed the envelope, they were like, we don't care. They started doing all kinds of like cancel culture. They tried to they were going to get canceled a lot, but then one of the biggest things, I just started watching this. Are You Afraid of the Dark? There was the original Are You Afraid of the Dark? And as a kid, it scared the hell out of me, right? I mean, it was one of those shows you watch, but parents didn't care if you watched it. It was weird. It was like it was on the same level as Goosebumps, right? Except people don't understand that Are You Afraid of the Dark was like scarier than Goosebumps because, they were using kids as examples, and the stories were a little more from like the books, you know what I mean? So they were using some dark stuff there. But I turned on the new Are You Afraid of the Dark that's on Hulu right now. Holy crap, dude. I don't know if I'd let my kids watch that.
Really?
Oh, dude, it's terrifying. And I don't mean it's scary like, oh, I'm scared. But I mean, like, as a kid, if I was, 7, 8, 9, 10, I'm not sleeping for a week after watching one of the new episodes of Are You Afraid of the Dark. And I think that's the kind of but I have a theory, too, on why the new Are You Afraid of the Dark is a thing. Pretty sure they were catering to the people who watched Are You Afraid of the Dark when we were kids because it's more intense, the graphics are better, everything is just 10 times better with it, and it actually has a good storyline.
Well, they're probably trying to do something like American Horror Story meets Black Mirror, sort of a deal too.
I could see that.
I've never seen it, but I would have to imagine.
No, I could absolutely see that. So real quick before we before I cough hold on a minute. This is horrible. All right, so real quick before we go, catch us on iHeartRadio, catch us on Spotify, catch us on iTunes and all that. Here's the thing, though, guys. We need you to share it around, pass it, but we need you to subscribe. Subscribe. I don't care which one you subscribe to, iHeart, Google, iTunes, whatever. But subscribe, because coming in the next couple months, we're going to have a paid version of the show. We're going to get rid of our Patreon, and we're going to go through and iTunes and stuff like that, but it's going to be a paid subscription. So pay attention to that. We're mulling around some ideas. We just got some of the information from the platform we use. But make sure you check that out. Check us out on Teespring if you haven't already. We got a lot of cool gear there. We don't really push that much. We probably should start pushing it a little bit more. But if you want some gear, check us out on Teespring and stuff like that. And then, of course, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, you can catch us doing a live webisode right here on Matt Tift. Matt_Tift on Twitter, as well as Facebook, as well as the Lift Show Twitter. So make sure you guys check us out. We had a lot of cool guests on. What are you laughing at?
Yeah, it's just you trying to figure out what social media things are.
Yeah, because I'm in charge of 80,000 of them, so I don't really know.
You only listed like 4.
Shut up! I hate you so much. You got the volleyball rolling around over there.
You know what we should do? Honestly, I would like to do They have like those because you and I both talked about growing up with why am I forgetting? WTAM late at night. There's those
Coast to Coast AM, man.
Okay, so June 1st, they're supposed to release all to Congress, all the UFO and like extraterrestrial stuff to Congress. I don't know about the public, but at least they're doing it to Congress no later than June 1st. So I think we should correlate that to that week being a kind of a cool story show, like like the true crime podcast and stuff like that. Yeah. We should do a one-off show, doing something like that, or like a UFO show, something like that. We should do that.
You know what we need to do? You know what we need to? Because do you believe in UFOs? I think I asked you this question. I just can't remember.
No, we've talked about it before. I do, but I'm.
So you're a skeptic. See, I'm a total skeptic. Actually, look for because they like. Obviously, Ohio's a hot spot, right? Because of what is it?
Bob Evans. All airlines love Bob Evans.
Bob Evans. I did not know Bob Evans was a magnet for reptilians. I guess
it says down on the farm, so we're gonna land a spaceship down on the farm.
I'm so mad at you right now. I don't even know what to say. I'm just pissed. I don't want to acknowledge that, but I have to, so I'll acknowledge it. That's awful. Do you believe in crop circles?
Most places are. Most sightings are in rural areas. So what's more rural than a Bob Evans?
Yeah. Did you ever wonder why aliens pick the biggest rednecks in the whole entire? And I'm not talking about like a redneck. I'm talking about like. You got to pull him away from his brother, sister, wife to get an interview for him. Why do aliens always abduct those people? Why don't they ever abduct anybody of, like, Like, why don't they abduct Elon Musk? That's where you're going to get your information from. You're not going to get it from Bobby Lee down the road who's dating Betty Sue.
Well, there's a very reasonable explanation for that.
Why?
So aliens are very high tech, right? They're thousands of years in the future. Okay.
However you spin this is going to piss me off, just so you know. So go